Alright, Shalom, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Bah Hashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who rule well. Sincere Shalom to you, Akim, who push this word around the globe in faith and in truth and in sincerity. As always, start by saying we are the real Hebrew Israelites, the true Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics and Native Americans, and our descendants on down, West Africans, everyone from the West Indies, islands like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Grenada, Montserrat, we are the true descendants of the man in the Bible that was named Israel. But not only that, this also applies to anybody who may look like any of the other 17 nations. But if your seed line by your father goes back to the man in the Bible named Jacob, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you look like, because this is about faith. And people who aren't of the seed line of Israel, they're not going to be able to fully comprehend and believe in this truth because it's not for them. Deuteronomy 7:6 says the Most High has only known us Israelites. He's not known any other nation, and he set us above all people on the face of the earth. So, getting into this lesson, I was in the chemist not too long ago, and I had to pick some stuff up, and while I was waiting at the counter I saw this picture on the counter, and as you can see you've got a baby here, and the baby is what would be called in today's society a so-called white child, a white baby. But there's no such thing as white people and black people. Those are just made up terms and bywords. Really what you have is biblical nations according to the Bible, and according to the Bible this baby would be an Edomite. And how can we tell this? Well, there's a couple of usual traits that Edomites have. The first is that they've got blonde hair, which is a sign of leprosy. They've got blue eyes, which is a sign of leprosy. They've got pale skin with no melanin, which is another sign of leprosy. Now, leprosy is a curse that was put upon the descendants of leprosy was a curse that was put on Esau and his descendants by the Most High, going back to the time of Cain, because for Cain's transgression where he rose up and slew Abel, the Most High put a mark upon Cain so that anybody who saw Cain would be able to see him, and they'd know that not to take vengeance against him because he had a mark. Now that mark was biblical leprosy. So let's get into this. Let me get some scriptures. I think I'll start with Genesis chapter 25. So that's the last lesson I was doing. Alright, so this is Genesis chapter 25. It's lucky, yeah. Bear with me a second. Right, Genesis 25 and 19. Now these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after he came out, his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau became a cunning hunter, and a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came in from the field and was faint. And Esau said unto Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. What shall it profit? What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear unto me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So, going back to the picture, that tells you that when Esau was born, he came out red all over like a hairy garment, and that's because his blood showed forth through the skin, as you can see here. Now, the background of this picture is white. The middle ground, you've got this picture of this baby, which is, pink looking, and at the bottom you've got a strip of red at the bottom. And this is beautiful because it shows you that, as I said, so-called white people aren't really white. They're actually red because their blood show forth through their skin. Yeah. Let me get another precept to back this up. Gen 36 maybe. Let's see. It's not what I want. Well, I'll get this first one anyway. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Yeah. Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. So there's no getting around that. I'm going to jump back a bit. 26. Yeah, let me keep going and see if I can find it. Yeah, let's get this. Genesis 27 and 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called his son Esau, his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said, Behold, I am here. Here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons and thy quiver and thy bow, and go out into the field, and take me some venison, and make me savoury meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, and that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake unto his son Esau. And Esau went into the field to hunt for venison, and bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savoury meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before Yahweh, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savoury meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Esau said unto Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau is my brother, he is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice, and go and fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savoury meat, such as his father loveth. And Rebekah took a goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savoury meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahweh thy power brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and he blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which Yahweh hath blessed. Therefore the Most High give thee the dew of the heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down unto thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be every one that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savoury meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten all before thou camest, and have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. And he took away my birthright, and now behold, he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered Esau and said, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren, and I have given him for servants. And with corn and with wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou not one but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Here's the point. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning of my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau purposed in his heart to slay his brother Jacob, because he was jealous of the blessing and the birthright that Jacob got. So that was the account of that Esau being the first Edomite. But let's jump back to Genesis chapter 5. So let's just get in there. No, Genesis 4. Now this goes back to Cain and Abel, so let's get this account. Genesis 4:1. And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. Cain was Esau in the reincarnation. Or the early incarnation of Esau was Cain. Let's put it that way. And conceived as bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. And she bare again his brother Abel. And Abel was the keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground as an offering unto Yahweh. So Cain, in his stupidity, instead of doing the right thing and sacrificing the firstlings of his flock, the dumbass tried to bring fruit to sacrifice to the Lord. And Abel also, he brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass that when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against his brother and Abel and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So Cain was a liar from the beginning. He killed his brother, and when Yahweh was inquiring, like, what happened to your brother, Cain was like, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Just in the same way, Esau lied to Isaac in saying that Jacob had stolen Esau's birthright, when Esau clearly sold it to Jacob for the red pottage. So Esau's a liar, man. So let's keep going. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now thou art cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto her her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be on the earth. And Cain said unto Yahweh, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out from this day, from the face of the earth, from the face of thee shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. Now here's the point. And Yahweh said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Now going back to the point of this lesson, that mark that Yahweh placed upon Cain was this mark right here, the mark of biblical leprosy. So I'm going to go a bit deeper into this topic of biblical leprosy and point out some things. And Lord willing, it will be edifying. So let me just get some scriptures. Alright, so the book of Leviticus chapter 13, I believe, is the one that goes into the laws regarding leprosy. So let's see what we can find here. Where are we? Leviticus 13. Alright, let's go into it. Leviticus 13:1, And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin in his flesh arising a scab or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like unto the plague of leprosy, then he should be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priests. And the priest shall look upon the plague of the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is the plague of leprosy. The priest shall look upon him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up, him that have the plague, 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be a stay, and the plague be spread not in the skin, the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look upon him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague be not spread in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean, but it is a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. Now let me give a little testimony here about this law and how it's true, because I'm a so-called dark-skinned Southern Kingdom, probably. I mean, none of us know fully what tribe really are, but I'm more than likely from the tribe of Benjamin, and I've got dark skin, brown skin, and I remember, like, when you're a child, when you're playing, in the playground at school, whatever, with your friends, you're running around. Like if I was running around and if I dropped and like I grazed my knee or my elbow or something, I would have exactly what is described in this scripture. I'd have pale or a reddish skin underneath my melanated skin, because when the top layer of your epidermis, which is the skin, I believe, is damaged, you see the pink skin underneath. Now, what this law is basically saying, that after this has happened, if you're shut up for 7 days and the skin starts to turn dark again, it means it's just a scab, and you're not gonna be you haven't got leprosy, basically. So that's what this is basically alluding to. So let's keep going. Yeah. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, Leviticus 13:9, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned white hair, and it be a quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy of the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall shut him up, for he is unclean. And if leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot whereof the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean, that he hath the plague, it is all turned white, he is clean. But if when the raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. So basically, you Edomites are considered clean lepers according to the law of the Bible. Now let me jump down to blonde hair. Where are we going? Let me just try and find this scripture here, because this is quite a detailed account of leprosy. I'm not going to read all of it. I just want to jump to the main point. Yeah, 13:30. If a man, starting at 29, Leviticus 13:29, if a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, there it shall be, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then shall the priest pronounce him unclean. It is a dry skull, even a leprosy of the head or beard. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it is not in sight deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up after the plague of the skull 7 days. So let me just go back to 13:30. If the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair. Now what is a yellow thin hair called in today's society? A blonde hair. Then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry skull, even a leprosy of the head or beard. So as you can see, baby's got red skin, Edomite. Baby's got leprosy on its head, thin yellow hair. No, it's the hair is not just yellow, but it's thin. It's not just yellow, but it's thin and yellow. That's leprosy, because most Southern Kingdom Jakes have woolly hair. Like myself, I've got woolly textured hair. Just to make this point and close out on this point, the Lord Yahushua was an Israelite, and he's described as having white woolly hair. Let's keep going. No. And this is the account of the Apostle John when he was on the island of Patmos. And he says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and behold, and being turned I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes was a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So that's the account of Yahushua, which is the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So I made the point, leprosy is a curse, and that curse fell upon predominantly the nation of Edom, But you're also going to, as I said in the start, you're going to have people who may look like Edomites, but they're actually Israelites, because Israel has been scattered amongst all nations. So we're going to look like all people. So the way to discern who is an Edomite and who's an Israelite is through the Spirit. Because when you get grounded in this truth, you start to no longer look at things on a surface level. You start to read people's spirits. You get that level of discernment. So with that, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to all you Archaean who pushing this word, the ones of you that are the hopeful elect. And until the next lesson, I'll say shalom.